David, thank you. Unsealed court documents out of Marinette County giving new insight into what happened the night 24-year-old Gabriella Cartagena was killed.
Cartagena's boyfriend, Robert Chilcote, charged with first-degree intentional homicide. Samantha Cavalli has the latest details from investigators in a First Alert update.
A frantic phone call, a cross-state search, and a chilling confession. Court documents revealing the timeline of events leading to the death of 24-year-old Gabriella Cartagena.
I have met with Gabriella's family several times throughout this investigation, and I will continue to remain available to them as this process moves forward. Our commitment to them does not end here.
According to the 13-page criminal complaint, around 5 p.m. February 4th, Cartagena and her boyfriend of 6 months, Robert Chilcote, left to run errands. An hour later, Cartagena's mother received a frantic phone call from her daughter, hearing her say, "I'm sorry, don't shoot me, I'm sorry, I didn't do nothing." According to the criminal complaint, Chilcote confessed he sent a misleading text from Gabriella's phone, claiming she was already at work following the incident.
There was contact made. We're not going to go any further on that information, but he did have contact with some of the family after the time the incident was alleged to happen.
That night, Chilcote allegedly returned home alone, telling Gabriella's mother that they had an argument and he had dropped her off at work. Her mother told investigators he was acting off and his pants were dirty. The next day, police found evidence of blood at Red Arrow Park, with cell phone data placing Chilcote there. He was tracked to Minnesota and arrested after a high-speed chase. Days later, police say he confessed to shooting Cartagena, claiming it was an accident, telling investigators, quote, "Robert said he tried to scare her with the gun, and then the gun went off. Robert said it was the .22 pistol and that it happened inside the car. Robert said he shot her in the head." He went on to say, quote, "Robert said he drove to the apartment, talked to Gabriella's mother, and packed his clothes in his car. Robert said he went back to Red Arrow Park and put Gabriella in the back passenger side of his car." According to the complaint, he admitted to moving her body from Red Arrow Park, driving her to Michigan, and disposing of her body in the woods, where it was later recovered. Chilcote is currently awaiting extradition to Wisconsin and has a court date in Minnesota scheduled for February 20th. The Cartagena family is planning a candlelight vigil for Gabriella on Wednesday. Samantha Cavalli, Action 2 News.